The whole world is silent tonight, as if every breath has paused in fear, for Fazza lies in the hospital room, and even the moon refuses to shine. Dubai's winds move slowly, whispering prayers across the empty roads. Every star trembles with worry, as if heaven itself is holding its tears. His smile, the light of the desert, is hidden behind curtains of pain, and the falcons sit quietly on their towers, waiting for their prince to rise again. The ocean near Jumeirah is restless, its waves softer than they've ever been, as though they too are praying for the heartbeat of the man they adore. No footsteps echo in the palace. No laughter dances through its halls. For when Fazza closes his eyes, an entire nation kneels with him. Mothers whisper his name with trembling lips. Fathers bow their heads in prayer. Children hold his pictures tightly, asking God to return their hero. Every palm tree stands still tonight. Every dune lowers its golden head, because the desert feels incomplete when its prince is locked in pain. The nurses move softly around him, their hands gentle, their eyes heavy, as if they too feel the sorrow that weighs on a world without his smile. Even the horses at his stables cry, their hearts listening for his footsteps, missing the voice that once calmed them, the voice that now lies silent on a bed. "Oh, Fazza, the world has grown dim, for your light is the sun of our days, and without it, the skies seem darker, the hours longer, the breaths weaker. Tonight the world is one prayer, one longing, one fragile hope, that you will open your eyes soon, and the universe will breathe again. The whole world is silent, because Fazza is in the hospital, and love itself is afraid." The corridors outside his room are frozen in time. Each second feels like a century passing. Each heartbeat echoes like a distant drum, reminding everyone how precious his life is. Doctors speak softly, almost whispering, as if a louder voice might harm his dreams, and their eyes, filled with silent concern, carry the weight of a nation's hope. A single lamp glows above his bed, casting fragile light on his resting face, and even that light trembles gently, afraid to disturb the prince of the people. Outside, crowds gather though the night is cold, holding candles, holding pictures, holding prayers, whispering verses, whispering love, hoping their words travel to his quiet room. Some stand with tears hidden behind their palms. Others stare at the sky begging for mercy, but all feel the same terrifying emptiness. A world that cannot move without him. Poets sit with broken pens in their hands, unable to write of anything but him. For how can poetry exist when the heartbeat of its muse is weak? Even the desert animals are restless. Camels kneel early in the sand. Falcons refuse their morning flights. Horses lower their heads in sorrow. The earth feels unbalanced tonight, for Fazza's strength is its anchor. And without his laughter, everything wavers like a ship in storm. Inside his room, the machines sing softly, a lullaby of fragile hope and hidden pain, their rhythm fighting to keep him safe, their lights blinking like tiny prayers. His hands lie still on the white sheets, hands that once held falcons, hands that once wrote poems for the world, hands that lifted hearts and carried dreams. If only the world could give him its strength. If only love could be placed in his veins. Every person would offer their heart, just to see him breathe without struggle. The whole world is silent, and this silence is heavier than sorrow itself, because it was his smile that once filled every corner of the world with light. Tonight every whisper is a plea, every heartbeat a prayer, every tear a message to God. Please return our beloved Fazza. The night grows deeper. The winds grow softer, the prayers grow louder, but he still sleeps in silence, and the world waits, helpless, breathless, trembling, for the moment his eyes will open, and life will return to all. The night refuses to end, as if the sun itself is waiting for permission, to rise only when Fazza opens his eyes, for dawn feels meaningless without him. In the palace, candles burn endlessly, each flame holding a wish, a prayer, a fear, and the shadows gently dance along the walls, as if trying to protect his memory. His brothers sit in quiet sorrow, their hands clasped, their heads lowered, their hearts heavy with the weight of a silence they never imagined facing. His sisters whisper verses from the Quran, their voices trembling in devotion, sending every word toward his fragile body, like threads of light seeking his heart. Outside, the world watches with trembling breath, because when a man like Fazza suffers, the universe itself feels the wounds, and humanity leans closer in grief. People in distant lands pray for him, even those who have never seen his face. For his kindness traveled across borders, like a warm wind touching unknown souls. His poetry echoes in the memories of millions, lines of love, courage, and compassion, now replaying in the minds of those who cannot imagine a world without his voice. In the hospital, nurses adjust his blanket, treating him like the fragile hope of the world, their eyes reflecting the stories they've heard of the prince who carried hearts with gentleness. A doctor places a hand on his wrist, feeling the slow rhythm of his pulse, and though the beat is weakened, it still carries the dignity of a warrior. The room is filled with the scent of medicine, mixed with the quiet perfume of prayer, creating an air so heavy with emotion that even silence feels sacred here. If only love could heal wounds unseen, if only longing could become medicine, Fazza would rise this very moment, for the world has never prayed harder. His horses stand restless in their stables, their hooves striking softly on the ground, searching for the familiar sound of the man they adored more than the wind. Every day he inspired them. Every morning he whispered courage to them, and now they wait like abandoned hearts, hoping their master returns soon. In the city, lights have dimmed. Cars drive slower, voices fall softer, restaurants serve food quietly, and even children play with gentler laughter. Because when Fazza is hurting, the world learns the meaning of tenderness, the meaning of unity, the meaning of love beyond borders. Tonight, the whole world is silent, not out of fear, but out of devotion. Because Fazza's life is a blessing they refuse to lose, and though he sleeps beneath cold hospital lights, the warmth of millions of prayers surrounds him, holding him gently, lovingly, endlessly, until the moment he returns. Outside his window, the sky grows pale, but the morning refuses to brighten fully, as if the sun itself is grieving, waiting for the prince to rise again. Birds perch on the hospital roof, yet none dare to sing, their voices trapped in their throats, held back by the weight of the world's sorrow. Inside, the hum of machines continues, soft and steady like fragile hope, each beat echoing in the hearts of all who wait for news. Nurses change shifts with silent steps, their tired eyes carrying stories. They cannot speak aloud, stories of the prince fighting for breath. They look at his still form, with tenderness and protective devotion, as if guarding the life of a man who guarded so many hearts. The IV drips gently, each drop a reminder of what is precious, each drop a small battle in the war to keep him safe. His face lies calm beneath the glow of hospital lights, but the quiet on his lashes, the stillness in his hands, strikes the world like thunder disguised as silence. In the waiting areas, people gather, their lips moving in prayer, their eyes heavy with sleepless nights, their hearts carrying the weight of unspoken fears. Some clutch prayer beads tightly. Others hold pictures of him smiling, remembering the man who stood strong for them, and now needs their strength in return. The whole world scrolls through updates, every headline shaking hearts, every rumor causing tremors of worry, every official statement read with trembling hands. Influencers post messages of healing, poets write lines soaked in grief, and strangers who never met him cry as if they lost a brother. For Fazza was never just a prince. He was a feeling, a comfort, a symbol of kindness wrapped in a human soul, a light that warmed even the coldest hearts. In schools across the nation, teachers speak softly about him. Children draw pictures of him smiling, hoping their art reaches his dreams. At the palace, the horses remain awake, their eyes watching toward the horizon, waiting for the familiar silhouette of their beloved rider approaching. They miss the way he touched their foreheads, the way he spoke to them like friends, the way he understood their hearts, better than any other soul alive. The stables feel hollow without him, as if the walls themselves are mourning the warmth of his footsteps. In every home across the Emirates, families gather in prayer circles, their hearts united by one longing, that Fazza awakens with strength restored. The whole world waits, breathing shallow, trembling, tender, because without his presence, even time feels sick. And yet, through the thick silence, through the heavy fear, a whisper of hope rises, a quiet belief that he will fight, that he will return, that he will conquer the darkness that dares to touch him. For Fazza's spirit is too strong to fade, too luminous to dim, too beloved to be taken easily. And so the world continues praying, continues weeping, continues hoping, until the moment he opens his eyes and brings life back into every soul. The morning deepens slowly. But light refuses to grow strong, as if the sun is waiting for his signal, waiting for Fazza to breathe freely again. Doctors gather outside his room, their voices low, their brows strained, discussing numbers, possibilities, hopes, while the world outside counts every second. One doctor places a hand on his chest, feeling the faint rise and fall. And though the rhythm is fragile, it carries the heart of a fighter. Inside that stillness, some believe his soul is wandering, perhaps walking through memories, perhaps hearing the prayers of millions. Maybe he sees the desert he loves, the dunes golden under warm sunlight, the falcons soaring high above him, calling him back toward life. Or maybe he hears his mother's voice, soft and trembling at his bedside, her hands shaking as she strokes his hair, whispering prayers only a mother can speak. Her tears fall quietly onto his hand, tears she tries to hide from the world, for queens are taught to be strong, but mothers are forever fragile for their sons. His father stands behind her, a pillar of silent strength. Yet even kings break when their children suffer. And tonight his heart beats with fear. His siblings enter one by one, each holding a piece of their broken hope, each touching his arm gently, as if reminding him that he is not alone. They speak to him with voices trembling, telling him stories, memories, dreams, hoping their words reach the place where his spirit is fighting to rise. Outside, crowds have grown larger, people kneeling on sidewalks, hands raised toward the sky, whispering his name with tearful devotion. Some recite Quranic verses quietly, some whisper du'as with shaking lips, some simply sit in silence. Because grief has stolen their voices. Pilots, soldiers, workers, poets, all stand equal today, bound by one shared love, one shared pain. Even the desert winds have softened, moving with the gentleness of a world mourning a fallen star, hoping it will shine again soon. In the city, fountains run slower, as if water itself is grieving, and skyscrapers glow dimly, their lights lowered in respect. People pause at traffic lights, with hands over their hearts, whispering, "Ya Rab, protect him," their voices trembling with fear and faith. The whole world watches the hospital doors, as if waiting for a miracle to walk out, as if waiting for a doctor to say the words that can heal millions of hearts. But the doors remain closed. The updates remain few. The tension remains deep. A storm held in silence. Inside the room, Fazza lies still, but a tiny movement in his fingers sparks hope in the hearts of those watching, hope that spreads like light through the darkness. A nurse gasps silently, her eyes filling with sudden warmth. And though the movement is small, it feels like the whole world has shifted. For even the smallest gesture, from a man like him, can turn despair into belief and sorrow into prayerful joy. The whole world is silent, but now beneath that silence, a soft whisper of hope is rising, a fragile miracle gently unfolding. In the room where Fazza sleeps, and the world continues to pray, continues to wait, continues to love him with a strength that refuses to break. The world holds its breath as the hours pass, each minute stretching like a lifetime, each second carrying the weight of countless hearts praying for one man. His room remains dim and quiet, filled with the soft glow of machines, the hum of electricity, and the whisper of prayers hovering in the air. A nurse gently wipes his forehead, her hands trembling with tenderness, for even she, a stranger, feels the enormity of his presence. Fazza's chest rises slowly, sometimes strong, sometimes weak, like a tide unsure of its direction, caught between storm and calm. His lips are pale, but they still hold the shape of poetry, as if somewhere deep inside, his soul is writing verses of survival. Outside his window, clouds gather like loyal guardians, forming a gray canopy above the city, as if shielding him from the cruelty of the sun. The world below moves carefully, cars drive slower, voices soften naturally, as if everyone feels the need to respect the silence. His horses in the palace stable begin to stamp anxiously, their instincts sensing their master's struggle, their hearts beating in sync with his. One white stallion, the one he loved most, paces restlessly back and forth, letting out quiet cries that echo through the empty courtyard. The falcons remain perched on their stands, heads lowered, wings tucked tightly, refusing to fly without his command, their loyalty deeper than the desert wind. In the palace, servants wait with heavy hearts, their hands clasped in prayer, their eyes red from sleeplessness. For a palace without Fazza is like a crown without light. In cities across the world, people post messages of hope, sharing stories of how he inspired them, how his kindness touched lives, far beyond the boundaries of Dubai. Officials pause meetings to whisper prayers for him. Athletes dedicate victories to him, and strangers cry upon hearing his name. No leader, no poet, no warrior has ever united hearts this way, with tenderness, not power, with grace, not command. His mother remains beside him, her hand wrapped around his fingers, her thumb gently stroking his knuckles, as she whispers verses to ease his soul. She remembers the day he was born, the day he took his first breath, and now she prays desperately that today will not be the day he loses it. His father stands close, his eyes filled with a strength that only true kings possess, yet even he cannot hide, the pain that lodges deep in his chest. He watches his son, the pride of his nation, the joy of his home, and silently begs God for mercy. Time feels like an enemy tonight, dragging its feet through the hours, forcing everyone to wait, in the agony of uncertainty. And yet, beneath the growing tension, beneath the ocean of fear, a soft miracle stirs, a faint twitch in his eyelids, a slight shift in his breathing, small signs that his soul is fighting its way back to the world. A nurse freezes for a moment, tears filling her eyes. And she whispers, He's trying to come back. The whole world is silent. But hope is now taking root, spreading softly, gently, tenderly, in the hearts of millions who love him. The prayers continue like endless waves. The tears continue like quiet rain. And love itself becomes a shield around the man who is still fighting for life. The air inside the hospital thickens, with the weight of unspoken fear, yet beneath it, a fragile glow of hope begins to flicker like a candle, fighting against the wind. His eyelids tremble again, a movement so small that only those closest notice. Yet for them, it feels as monumental as the rising of a new sun. A doctor leans closer, his breath catching for a moment, eyes widening with cautious hope, as he whispers to the nurse beside him. He's responding, slowly but responding. But no announcement is made, no message is sent outside, for the world is too delicate, too fragile with fear, to hold its breath for false hope. The nurses move gently around him, their steps as soft as prayer, as if they are walking on the edge of a miracle not yet ready to bloom. His mother lifts her head slightly, eyes filled with tears that glisten, like pearls caught in moonlight, her heart clinging to the possibility that her son is fighting his way back. She brings his hand to her forehead, whispering 1,000 silent pleas, asking God to return the light that once illuminated their home. His father steps closer, his voice steady yet trembling within, as he murmurs, "Come back to us, my son. Your people are waiting. Your world is waiting." Outside the hospital, the crowds have grown even larger, stretching down the streets, filling walkways, bridges, and open squares, a sea of silent devotion. Some hold candles that flicker in the morning breeze. Some hold pages of his poetry. Others hold their hands over their hearts, as if trying to steady the tremor inside them. No one speaks loudly. No one laughs. No one rushes. The entire world moves with the delicate care of a heart afraid to break. News channels broadcast slow, quiet updates, their voices soft, respectful, the presenters themselves holding back tears as the world prays for good news. In distant countries, mosques make dua for him, churches light candles for him, temples hum gentle prayers for him, because kindness knows no borders, and Fazza's kindness reached everyone. Pilots pause before takeoff to whisper blessings for him. Paramedics pray in their ambulances. Teachers pause mid-lesson to send a moment of silence into the heavens. Children draw pictures, simple, innocent sketches, of Fazza smiling beneath a shining sun, as if their crayons could heal him, with the purity of their hearts. In his hospital room, his breath grows steadier, still weak, still fragile, but carrying a rhythm that gives the world strength. A doctor checks his pulse again, and this time, the faintest smile touches his lips, a smile filled with hope and faith. "He's fighting," he whispers. "This man, he is truly fighting." And those words move through the room, like a warm breeze through winter, touching every heart present, bringing tears of relief they do not dare to express aloud. The whole world is silent, But now, behind that silence, a heartbeat of hope is growing, soft but persistent, delicate but determined, alive. And in the warmth of that hope, the world continues to pray, continues to wait, continues to love him with a devotion that refuses to fade.